The fact that we're able to grow assets under management under a very difficult economic environment, I think is really what we are happy about. And the way one looks at that is that you're looking at the market. If you look at the listed environment where the JSE's performance over the same period was 1.5%, and we were able to, from a composite perspective, grow the assets in totality to about 3% by 3%. I think that's quite significant. And when you talk about one of our key clients, the GPF, it's also important to know that that happened in an environment where over 117 billion was withdrawn to pay benefits. So you're not only getting the return, the 70 billion in excess in terms of growth, but you've also paid on the other side over 117 billion, which means in totality you're probably looking at a growth of more than 200 billion in totality. That's significant. It has impacted on a number of levels. First, us as an asset manager, we're now seen very differently from a regulation point of view and what our impact will be. So currently, we are seen as a significant institution, and that limits the extent to which we can actually invest in certain financial institutions, especially banks. The key concern there being the systemic impact that we could have if we were to act in a particular manner in the investments that we make. That's one. And then, of course, the other one is more direct. There is a more focus on us making sure we know the sources of the funds that we get back from the investments that we make, and also being quite clear and sure about who we're investing with. So the issues around politically exposed persons and the need to focus on those in terms of how we assess them before we make investments has become quite key, and also on an ongoing basis has become something that we look at. There's a lot more compliance that we have to do to comply with some aspects of what the grey listing has required the country to address in meeting the conditions for us being taken out of that. So we have built up a much bigger compliance function to be able to accommodate that. The recommendations were quite broad, so it's maybe not so easy. I think the way I've tried to answer it is to say you can break it into issues of governance, how to strengthen governance. I think that was something that we had to focus on, to focus on clarity around where we get our mandate, making sure we understand it comes from clients, not from whoever the powers that might be, making sure that we are transparent. I know there's always question marks around our transparency, around our investments, making sure that we treat all people who want to access us for potential funding fairly and equally. I think we've had to put processes that make that possible. Making sure that from a management perspective, we are organized in a manner that does not concentrate power, that power is delegated, so splitting functions across executives and delegating downwards, I think has been a significant issue. And then having policies and processes and procedures to support that, to ensure that, for instance, we do not go around processes, and to establish entities that make sure we manage the organization with integrity, the ethics office, the compliance office and such.